I wasn't gonna answer any more Q&A questions because I felt like I had done a lot, but this question reminded me of how stupid and weird I was at my very first show, and it was like nobody's fault. Like, I was so new to it, but I just like decided not to ask any questions, which was really weird. Like, ask questions if you don't know what things are. And so I want to tell the story of it because it was very embarrassing back then, and so I haven't like told people this story unless you're really close to me, but it's really funny now, so I thought I would share. So I didn't start off like straight up just like tour. I did like one-off shows with Cape Town, and then I did like a half opening tour with Chloe Mariando, and I think had I like jumped straight into like a tour I would have died, and so like one-off shows was really nice. So we had driven for like an hour and we got to the venue and we were unloading everything, and everything gets unloaded. I have my stuff, the band has their stuff, and everybody starts saying like, hey, where's the green room? I'm gonna go to the green room, da 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 da. And so I didn't know what the green room was or what a green room was at the time, and so I didn't know if I was like allowed in the green room or if it was like only for headliners or whatever. And now, just for reference, the green room is like where all the artists should go and hang out. It's like the backstage area. So, because I didn't know what the green room was, and I was like way too anxious to ask anybody, because I didn't want to seem stupid, I just like sat and stared at the stage for like 30 minutes to an hour because I didn't know what the green room was. So at this point everybody had left. I think soundcheck was over or something along those lines, and my now friend Nick, I think it was Nick that found me, ends up like coming down to check something and just sees me on a chair staring at the stage because I didn't know what was happening, and he's like, hey buddy, are you gonna go to the green room? And I was like, I don't know where it is, and like, because I didn't know how to respond, and he was just like, oh, like, let me show you where it is, and so he ends up like taking me around, showing me the code, all of that, and when I get to the green room, that's when I realized that the green room is just the backstage area, because I had never that it would be called a green room. And I was like so embarrassed that I ended up just like sitting on a couch in the green room and just waiting for sound check, because I was so embarrassed that I just didn't know, and I had been staring at a stage for an hour not knowing what anything was. So then it was time for my sound check, and I go down and I didn't know how to set anything up or plug anything in, and it was either like my now friend Sean, who does audio, or like one of the venue guys, I can't remember who, but someone came up to me and was like, are you gonna need monitors? And I didn't, like, this is how much I didn't know about live performance, was like, I didn't know what a monitor was, because I don't think anybody understands. Like, I only played coffee shops and schools. Like, I didn't know anything, and nobody around me did music, so like I had never heard this stuff. And so I was like, what the fuck is a monitor? But I didn't say that. And so I was just like, I don't know. Because in my head, a monitor was like a computer monitor. And I was like, I don't think I need that. So they keep talking to me and they're like, I think you're going to need monitors because you don't have in-ears. And at the time, I also did not know what in-ears are. Basically, in-ears are like what artists wear so they can hear the track and the click and all of that, but I didn't know that because, again, I didn't know what anything was called. And so they helped me set up, and sound check went well and everything, and then I was like, oh, do I just like leave this stuff here? And they were just like, yeah, just leave it here because you're the opener, and so like you'll come back and everything will be fine. I was like, oh, okay. And so I go off stage and I'm still like, what the fuck is a monitor? So I go to the bathroom and I'm texting my mom and I'm like, Mom, do you know what a monitor is? And she goes, a what? And I'm just like, they asked if I needed a monitor and I don't know if I need one. Do you know what a monitor is? And she was like, I don't know. So I'm Googling like, what's a stage monitor? It's a speaker. It's a speaker. So I ended up going back to the green room, and I also like didn't know the schedule of anything, because you're supposed to have an app as an artist with like a touring schedule and all of that, but I think I had the app, but I didn't know how to use it, or I was like too afraid to use it because I didn't want to fuck anything up. I didn't understand what it was. And so things would keep happening that I needed to be at, like sound check or whatever. And my manager would just be like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yes." Even though I was so unaware of like when things were happening. And like later at the like end of the day, she like showed me the app and how to use it and everything. And I was like, I think I understand this. It took me like at least 3 shows to actually use that app and understand it. I also like didn't eat anything in the green room. I think I like snacked a little bit, but I didn't know I was allowed to have the food. I also made my parents buy tickets and wait in line because I didn't understand how to do the guest list, and I didn't know if like openers were allowed to have people on the guest list. And so I just made them buy tickets and wait in line. And then my manager came to me and she was just like, "Are your parents here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I'm gonna go find them." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know they were allowed in." And so my parents ended up coming in, and then I performed the show itself, and the show itself went great. Like I was comfortable with performing and singing live and all of that. Like that was awesome. I felt very comfortable. And even my manager was like, "That was a really good first show. Like, yay." I was like, yay. But yeah, it was just everything that goes around shows, or like the terminology. I just didn't know anything, and I was just too scared to ask for some reason, which is stupid.